Let's take you back to our breaking story this hour. It's actually our developing story. This is the collapsed building in Verulam, KZN. These are, in fact, visuals courtesy of KZN Kokta. This is what the building looked like. We've been reporting since the start of 1 o'clock that a building in Verulam, KZN has collapsed. It's a four-storey building. It's understood that there are a few people trapped underneath the rubble, and what has been happening now is that they've been able to communicate via voice notes, but details remain quite sketchy. Our reporter, though, Simphiwe Makhanya, has arrived on the scene. He's just been redirected to a new entry point, of course, to manage safety concerns as well. So as soon as we have established the line to him, he'll give us more details. Those are now, the visuals that you see now are those of the collapsed building. As you can see, a lot of damage, cars now buried under rubble, and you can see a number of people working at that very area, also now either running for safety. But what we also understand, just looking at some of what is taking place even on social media, on just the specific account of the Reaction Unit South Africa, it seems some people understand there was an extension that was taking place at the very building, and perhaps the extension side, the side that was now being extended, could have been the one that might have collapsed and unfortunately then trapping people in the other part of the temple. But all of those are still verified, at least claims at this point. But what is known is that indeed there has been a collapse, and insofar as Reaction Unit South Africa is concerned, what they have indicated that there are a few individuals trapped underneath rubble and continue to communicate with them, and they've also requested that more emergency personnel who are available should also make their way to the scene to assist, because at this point the numbers of those trapped is unknown, and also just the extent of the damage is unknown. I believe we do have now the Director of Reaction Unit South Africa. This is Prem Balram. Good afternoon, Prem. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Worrying visuals and reports that we're getting from the scene. Can you just share with us what exactly happened and the status of those that are reportedly trapped underground?
Well, we received the call that a structure had collapsed over the temple that's in Redcliffe in Verulam. So when we got to the scene, we had found that 4 levels of a building under construction had collapsed over an existing temple. We believe there's 6 trapped under the rubble. This number has not been confirmed.
Now, this temple was a temple that was actually being utilized at this point. From just the original visuals that we have seen, it was not that it was still under construction. The building was complete. There's no extension, as other people are now claiming on social media. The temple was fully functional.
The temple was fully functional, but there was additional 4 floors that were under construction over the temple. Those 4 floors collapsed onto the existing temple, so it was under construction.
All right. And now the owners of the temple, or those that are in charge of the temple, have they arrived on the scene to at least give some sort of assistance as to exactly the numbers that are possibly trapped in there, and maybe to start trying to account for other workers that are around there?
Well, they arrived on scene within minutes after the collapse, and I must confirm that one of the trustees or the owners of the temple are trapped under the rubble as well.
My goodness. So insofar as rescue personnel, you were, of course, among those that were first on the scene. How difficult a terrain is it, or are you able to move through the rubble, or it's just too much at this point from the visuals we're seeing?
Well, as we speak, the rescue has not even begun. We have the Tikwini Fire Department that is coordinating. We have rescue teams from several private companies and government organizations on scene. The temple, I must tell you, is on the side of a cliff. It's quite steep, working up the cliff and down the cliff. But rescue has commenced, but no digging has started as we speak.
It honestly looks like a vast area from just the visuals that we have. One doesn't even know where you would begin. But of those that are reportedly trapped, you're saying at this point it could be 6. Are you in communication with those? Because we were just looking at some of what you have been sharing on your social media page, that they were able to remain in contact through voice notes. Are you still in contact with them?
Well, I can confirm that several voice notes were sent to family members initially when there was a collapse. I haven't been updated whether there is further communication, but I can confirm that when we got to the scene, family members have received voice notes and even pictures from under the rubble of entrapments.
So insofar as other rescue personnel, you're saying apart from yourselves, nobody else has yet arrived?
No, there is plenty of rescue personnel on scene from Netcare 911, IPSS, medical, the fire department, the South African police. We have plenty on scene. They are coordinating, and they haven't commenced digging as we speak, but they are coordinating at the scene as we speak.
And of course, I must appreciate your area of expertise is rescuing. But just looking at what has happened here, as we all try to piece what could this be attributed to, is it perhaps an issue of weather or just the construction itself? Perhaps there was no safety measures that were being enforced here. Does it look like a weather issue because we have had a lot of rain, or it might have to do with the construction itself?
Well, listen, I can't comment, the cause of the structural collapse, but I can tell you when I got to the scene, I found that there was a cement truck pouring ready-mix concrete directly over the area of collapse. So, I mean, investigations can confirm the cause of the structural collapse, but it's unlikely that it's weather. It was being constructed as the building had collapsed.
All right, Prem, we'll leave it there for now with you and touch base as this operation continues. Thank you very much. That is Director of Reaction Unit South Africa, Prem Verulam, there, indicating to us that at least from where he stands, in as much as they are not experts, but he does not think that what we're seeing here, this collapse, could be as a result of weather conditions which have been quite erratic of late, but saying that it seemed that the construction was going on full on. What he saw when they arrived was a truck for cement. So possibly, in as much as we all cannot draw conclusions, but possibly what has happened here could be related to the construction that was still taking place. As he had stated earlier, that indeed the temple was fully functional, but there were now additional stories that were being built, as we are now calling it a four-story. So most certainly, quite a lot will have to be established as to what exactly led to the collapse. But as he's also indicated to us, it seems that 6 individuals are trapped. But I believe we have more information now at this hour. Producers working around the clock to bring us updates. Disaster management teams have been deployed to the site of the collapsed temple in Redcliffe Verulam, north of Durban. Several people believed to be trapped under that concrete, as we've heard from at least Prem. It's 6 for now, according to preliminary reports from the disaster management teams. The 4-story building was under construction when it collapsed, something that also Prem Verulam, who's on the scene, has confirmed. Now, emergency units are on site. There are no details as yet regarding any possible casualties. I believe that our reporter, Simphiwe Makhanya, is almost ready to speak to us. He's still just trying to establish a place where we can now start to have that conversation with him. But quite a very disturbing story. And again, there are now unsubstantiated reports, of course, given the developments that continue to come in and more information, that there was indeed an additional construction taking place at this Verulam building, the temple. And we have heard from Prem Verulam, the Director of Reaction Unit South Africa, that among those trapped for now is one of the directors or those who are owners of that specific temple. So most certainly a very worrying scene that we're witnessing, but we're also getting some other visuals which show that a number of emergency personnel have arrived on the scene. So most certainly speaks to the magnitude of this disaster, in as much as they cannot verify the number of people trapped underground. But most certainly from the visuals that I am getting just on my cell phone right now, it seems, the magnitude is quite significant given the amount of vehicles that we're seeing there that have arrived on the scene. As stated, our reporter is standing by any moment now. He'll be giving us the very latest just to get context as to exactly what has been happening at the temple. My producers, pardon me, are telling me that Simphiwe Makhanya, our reporter in KZN, is ready for us just to share the very latest. Good afternoon, Simphiwe. Just share with us what you've established since you arrived on the scene.
Well, Mfundo, we've just arrived at the scene. It's quite an active scene and busy one, as you can imagine. Quite a number of emergency services workers. In front of me, I see the firefighters as well. Police are here. But let's try and make sense, Mfundo, of what really happened here and engage Prem from Reaction Unit. Prem, thank you so much for affording us this opportunity. Give us a sense of what happened here.
So when we got to the scene, we were informed initially there was a structural collapse and it was unknown the number of injuries and entrapments. So when we got to the scene, initially we found that 4 floors that were under construction above a temple had collapsed. And we then established that it could be possibly 6 people that are trapped under the rubble and 8 others that were injured and expedited to a local hospital.
Have those people been retrieved from the rubble as we speak, or operation is still continuing?
Operations still continuing. The fire department is on scene. They're coordinating. There are tons of rescue personnel on scene, as you can see, and they haven't began rescuing them as we speak. But they are coordinating. I've seen them on the scene. My team is part of the rescue, and they are about to start with the operation.
What do we know about this particular structure, Prem?
I know that the temple was existing for a while. I'm not sure exactly how long, but for a short while, probably a year or two, the temple was in existence. They were doing a construction over the existing temple when it had collapsed.
When did this incident happen?
The incident happened just around lunchtime today. We were called out just before lunchtime, around 12 o'clock. And when we got to the scene, 3 minutes later, we had found a group of people gathered around with 8 injured lying on the floor. So when we got to the scene, there were 8 others injured, and we later learned that there were 6 others trapped under the building.
Those who are injured, what is the condition of them, and have they been taken to hospital?
Yes, various injuries. They were taken to a local hospital. Some were actually taken privately. While we were on scene, they were loaded into vehicles and expedited to a local hospital. So I can't comment on their injuries. I haven't followed up. We are busy on the scene. But the 6 that are possibly trapped, and those numbers are not confirmed, have been communicating. Some have been communicating with family members from under the rubble via SMS and sending out images of the location that they are trapped on.
The condition of this particular structure, Prem, what can you tell us about that?
Listen, all I know it been constructed. I have no knowledge of the engineering. I have no knowledge of what was going on. But I can tell you that when I got to the scene, that there was a ready-mix concrete truck that was seemed to have a chute over the area where it had collapsed, and that's what I can comment on. I'm not sure about the structure. I'm not sure how long the building is going up, and any part of the engineering.
Was it a 4-story or 5-story building?
From what I'd seen, it was a 4-story. I can't confirm that, but it was 3 or 4 stories high.
In terms of those who are still trapped inside, have you asked for further assistance, perhaps from police or those that can assist in terms of trying to retrieve their bodies?
Yes, well, it's a rescue operation. You know, we're not retrieving bodies at the stage. We can't confirm if anybody has passed on. But when I got to the scene and I realized it's going to be a mammoth task to rescue those people, there's tons of concrete using construction over the area that people are trapped, and I knew it's going to be a task to get to them. So I sent out a request for people to come and help us from throughout KZN, rescue teams, and I've got help from all the way from Cape Town, from all parts of the country offering help, but we have tons of rescue personnel here ready to help.
Were there people praying inside, or what were they doing? Do you have any information with regards to that?
I can't confirm if they were praying. I was informed that a priest is trapped. I can't even confirm that, because details coming through about who is trapped is a bit sketchy. So we can't confirm on exactly who is trapped under, whether they were praying or whether all were construction workers.
Any further information you'd like to share with us?
Well, we asked the general public to stay away from the scene. As you can see, it's chaotic. There's a lot of vehicles causing obstruction on scene. Rescue personnel can't get through with rescue vehicles. So if the general public can stay away, when we will update as soon as we have news.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
There is Mr. Prem who speaks on behalf of Reaction Unit, giving us a sense there, Mfundo, of the situation, a chaotic one, in fact, I might add, that is unfolding here in the area of Verulam. The area has become cordoned off. The actual, a scene where this particular structure collapsed has been cordoned off. You see the presence as well of police who are trying to, I guess, manage this particular situation. The information that is coming through from the reaction unit at the moment is that there are still people trapped inside, but of course those rescue operations are ongoing, and members of the public have been urged to really try and stay clear of this particular location where we are. As you can imagine, everyone would want to see what really happened here. But in terms of the structure itself, Mfundo, we have no knowledge or in terms of the condition that it was in, but what we do know that we have confirmed with the reaction unit is that it was a temple, but it's not clear whether the people that got injured and that are still trapped underneath the rubble were praying when this particular incident happened. We are going to be on the ground, Mfundo, to try and give our viewers a sense really of the situation as it unfolds here, but in terms of further details, we are awaiting that police will perhaps later on come and address us and give us a sense of what has been established in terms of this particular, sad situation unfolding here in the area of Verulam, Mfundo.
Simphiwe, now before I let you go, I'm starting to see quite a lot of movement there, a lot of people. Are those perhaps now family members that we're seeing moving in that vicinity? Because we're seeing those with reflector vests that, of course, would indicate that they are security or at least rescue personnel. But I'm starting to see a lot of other people, normal civilians. Do we have an indication of family members having arrived on the scene or not?
We have not spotted any of the family members at the moment, Mfundo, but what we have spotted are people who are trying to sort of manage this particular chaotic situation. Many of them are actually, emergency service workers, and also the presence of police as well as security personnel here trying to sort of calm the situation, as of course we see more and more people, asking themselves what happened, and the impact really that this particular, collapse is going to have on the community of Verulam. But in terms of identifying the family members, we have not been able to do so. But of course, I'm sure that some of them are making their way to this particular location where we are, Mfundo.
Simphiwe, I'm hoping that if you'd be able to indulge us a bit more, maybe if you could walk around the area so we can also just get a sense of how far removed the temple was from ordinary civilian life, if you will use such a term. That was it somewhere on the outskirts, away from everybody in Verulam? Because we understand that it's Redcliffe, it's called the River Range Ranch. So was it a bit far removed, where perhaps neighbors and people close by would have not even been able to hear some loud thunder or thudder when that building collapsed? How far off is it from other people?
Mfundo, let me step out of the shot as I ask my colleague Nomhle Ngubane to try really from this particular position where we are to give you a sense of the location of this particular temple. But of course, we are not going to be able to see it, Mfundo, because we have been told to stay put where we are and avoid, sort of making any movement. As you can see that the location or the, site has been cordoned off. That is, of course, in an effort to try and maintain law and order, as of course police continue to work on this particular active scene that we have seen. I've spotted quite a number of people, just onlookers, coming here to, I guess, also have a sense of what really happened here, Mfundo. I'm not sure if I'll be able to speak to some of these. Okay, I've been told that they are not able to speak to us, Mfundo, but I spotted two women who are basically shocked, and you can just visibly see that they are shaken by this incident, but it's not quite clear as to whether they are family members of those that are, sort of involved in this particular incident. We know that the number is currently standing at 6 of those who are believed to be trapped underneath the rubble. We're speaking to reaction units earlier on. Prem confirmed that, of course, there were quite a number of injuries, and those that sustained, various injuries have been taken to, seek medical assistance at this particular point in time. So, Mfundo, the location of where we are, it's quite difficult really to give our viewers a true sense of just how tall perhaps the structure was, because it's on the uphill. So, and around this particular area, I'm not able to see any houses that are nearby here from where we are. But of course, as you look further down, it's quite a congested location of this community of Verulam. But in terms of the houses nearby, I'm not able to see any of the houses around this particular location. I'm going to apologize to our viewers as we try and perhaps paint a picture, Mfundo, of just the chaotic scene that is unfolding here. The people that are working on the ground, emergency personnel as well as security personnel, have been instructing us to try and move from this particular location where we are. I suppose, Fundo, we are going to try and do that, and of course apologize to our viewers as we do because of the shaky visuals that they are going to be seeing from this particular location. Mfundo, it's quite a hectic and chaotic situation. Let me perhaps try and ask my colleague Nomhle Ngubane to walk with me as we try and engage some of the residents that have since gathered here to get a sense really of what they were able to see, if they saw the incident occurring, and what they know about this particular structure. I'm going to ask my colleague Nomhle Ngubane to walk with me down, and we will apologize once again to our viewers as we do that because of the shaky visuals. And I'm going to now try and direct Nomhle to perhaps allow me to engage with some of the residents that have come here today. Ma'am, thank you so much for perhaps joining us. Please give us a sense of why are you here, and what do you know about this incident? So let's try maybe and engage you. Okay. So, Mfundo, as you can imagine, the residents here are quite skeptical to comment on camera, but of course, some of them are visibly shaken by this particular incident. We are going to endeavor to try and speak to those that are continuing to come here to get a sense, really, of the, their sort of state of shock, as it were, as of course we continue to piece the evidence or the information that is coming through to us at this particular moment, Fundo.
Right, so here we'll leave it there for now and allow you the opportunity to piece together whatever information is coming on the ground. But I do suppose it will be important to speak to residents around that area to get a sense as to how long the temple has been in the area, and was it functional? Were people praying today? And also around the construction, and to also get a sense or understanding as to, is it built on a hilltop, and just the structural integrity of it if you had a specific building that was now being built 4-storey on top of that temple. All of that, at least Simphiwe Makhanya would trust, will be able to gather for us and just share more information on this developing story.